I tell you, I've been in this chair now or this role for a year, and I've seen people's stories make a difference. I've given a couple of different examples. One was a sixth generation rancher in southern Utah, northern Arizona that, because we have such a large percentage of federal lands in the western states, wanted to be able to change the way that grazing rules and regulations were enforced on federal lands. And being a roundtable participant and then going and speaking directly with secretaries like Secretary Rollins and also Secretary Burgum of the Interior, because you got BLM and U.S. Forest Service that are under different departments, and Kelly Loeffler, SBA administrator, and then meeting with the president. I mean, this is somebody that I know. He sends me a picture of him in the Oval with President Trump saying, I can't believe we talked about these rules and regulations to the president. It can really make a difference. And also in our area, we have a lot of truck transportation outfits. We also have a lot of farmers and ranchers that rely on diesel engines, and the diesel emission fluid sensor requirement that EPA, the end of March, Secretary Zeldin, working with the EPA, we were able to get them to rescind the requirement for the DEF or DEF sensors on vehicles that would put them into what they call a limp mode or deratement. And that was causing all kinds of problems for the farmers and truckers and, you name it. And so we've had a couple of really, I think, decent sized wins just right out of the gate. And we're just getting started, because if, again, go look at that most wanted, we've got a lot more to go.
Well, and I think that this is good because even myself being uneducated when it comes to when I've always heard deregulation, right? I think in our head, it's a misconception that people think like, oh, this is just going to mean that businesses are going to screw us over as consumers. And this means that we're not going to have, but really, I mean, all the examples you've mentioned, I'm like, kind of like, yeah, no shit. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we do that? And so I think that that's eye-opening for sure.
It is. And to that point, I mean, not all regulation is bad, right? There are certain guardrails that maybe it is proper for government to be involved and put those up for consumer protection or others. But when you look at just the sheer volume of regulation,
absolutely,
you know that we've gone overboard. It's unbelievable. I mean, the OSHA heat rule, for example, is citing that certain shade structures need to be in place at a temperature level in Arizona even when the sun isn't there, they're requiring that be in place. That defies common sense and logic.
Right.
And so where we have the ability to get in and help modify some of these rules and regulations or to eliminate them altogether, it only makes sense. Let's take that burden off the business person who ultimately is passing costs on to the consumer. I mean, with the diesel emission fluid issue, for example, it doesn't better at all our air quality. And it actually adds thousands of dollars more to the average consumer, because there's on average 5 or 6 diesel truck trips to get a product from it being manufactured, say, to the shelf. And in the case of food, that's even more problematic when you're increasing the cost of foodstuffs for some trivial piece of regulation that really is outdated.